Hey, it's going fine. How about you? Whose sound are we using? Okay.
Okay, this is 100% no wrong warp, no out of bounds tournament. Xander versus Spiraster. So the rules for this category are: you have to get everything that is basically permanent on your menu. You have to collect, and then we're not allowed to go do any wrong warping or go out of bounds at all. So wrong warping is essentially like the doghouse glitch you may be familiar with. We're not allowed to do that. We can't go into any warp point and make the game warp us where we're not supposed to go. Then out of bounds is a little bit more complicated. But if you think of all the tiles that are solid, our out of bounds rules define which of those solid tiles we can and can't stand on and how far into the solid tiles we can go, and as well as where we can and can't transition.
Right. Like, we're going to see lots of moments where we basically jump over solid tiles that we'd not normally be able to go into. Those are not going out of bounds, for instance. And we're off. Out of bounds rules are kind of hard to understand because this game could be completely broken by it.
Starting out, we're doing house percent, trying to get out of the house as quick as possible.
See if we get any 24 seconders here. Xander getting a 24, barely. So we need to get the sword. There's only one category that I'm aware of where we do not get the sword. It's called Fish the Pond. It's a great little category where you just go and you get some rupees and you fish all the fish out of the pond. We're going to be fishing in this category, but we're only going to be getting 2 fish. We need to get the sword, though. And there's 2 ways of getting the sword. Xander did the what we call Sonic Boost. These sea hedgehogs here are they'll damage you, and whenever you take damage, you get pushed in a direction, and you can use that to push yourself a little bit closer to the sea urchin or sea hedgehog.
So what we're doing now is we need to get 10 rupees. We need to get 10 rupees because we need to get the trendy game. And what we can do to make it a little bit faster is if the rupee touches our shield hitbox or our sword hitbox, as well as Link's hitbox, it'll actually duplicate the rupee and collect it twice. So we're trying to do that as much as possible to get as many rupees as quick as possible. Xander getting decent luck.
Spiraster getting excellent luck in duping that final rupee.
Oh yeah, he has 12 now. Oh, and Xander getting really bad grass RNG.
Yeah. The grass can really, really screw you over. And the beach can also screw you over. And in a race, if you get screwed over by both, it's rough. And we're finally getting enough. So we need to steal the shovel. And then we get punished for it by dying. And then we go in, steal again. So the bombs here on Spiraster's screen, he bought the bombs, but he didn't lose any rupees. And that's because you can actually interrupt the rupee countdown. When you buy something, it counts down from that point, and if you do a save and quit, it just stops that, and you keep all of your rupees. So you essentially get them for free.
The Spiraster are now in trendy game because we need to get the powder. Hardest part of the game, obviously, is see if he gets it.
Xander predicting the future here for us. I have a feeling he may have failed trendy game. Well, he looks fine. Failing trendy game is pretty painful, though. Oh, he's fine.
Oh, I think he's talking about when he saved and quit really early at the beach.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, it did seem a little early, but that happens.
So we're in the forest now. and we need to go rescue Terran, even though we don't really want to, but it's faster. If you don't want to rescue Terran, go play No Save and Quit, which is not the main category.
Anymore.
So we'll see here in a second, he's going to do something called a bomb trigger, which we'll see lots in the run. Essentially, if you place 2 bombs against a transition or within 4 frames of each other, the game doesn't like it because normally you're only supposed to have 1 bomb on the screen at a time. You see there, Terran kind of exploded and turned back from the raccoon to normal Terran. And so when there's 2 bombs on the screen, the game just kind of freaks out, and some values get overflown to other parts of the memory, and cutscenes happen.
Yeah, we use it to even like pull heart pieces from whole other caves and the opposite side of the screen. And sometimes just playing faster to do a bomb trigger than to, for example, like the walrus, where we're gonna get Marin. You could just talk to the walrus with Marin, but we're gonna use a bomb trigger instead because it's faster.
Is Xander going
to walk in?
He gets it. So you can walk over those pits because pit physics are really weird, especially on the right side of pits as opposed to the left side. It's really bizarre. But there's a 50% chance if you get the right subpixels that you can actually just walk over that pit.
You just saved 5 seconds with that.
Saves 5 seconds, yeah. Normally more of a swag move than an actual speedrun strat. But Xander's known for going for it and known for getting really good luck on it too.
He's very good at doing, because it's not just luck. It is actually also you have to know the right inputs as well to make sure you're in the right position. Because if you're in the wrong position, you can fail it no matter what. First, they're doing arrow strats. Arrow count can get pretty tight depending on what route you take and where you use arrows. Like for these beetles, you can use sword like Xander. And Xander got pretty good luck there, so he actually didn't really lose any time over using arrows, but sometimes those beetles can be knocked into just a weird spot. And it's slower. So we got the feather now. The feather is the most broken item in the game, and you'll see why on Spiraster's screen in a few seconds. It's going to be doing a thing called a super jump, where you clip into a wall, and then you do some inputs to trick the game into thinking that you're on a ledge, and you just do that. You just jump over. Basically allows you to jump over 2 tiles. Or over the tile in front of you, at least.
Yeah, it's a mechanic that...
And we use that. But that super jump on Xander's screen is bizarre. I don't understand how that one works.
You just do it.
Yeah, I don't know. How did we even find that one? Looks like Xander's going for the fairy, which I think is kind of a wise choice in a race, because it really does not lose you any more than like half a second. Very minimal time loss. Oof. That's actually the hardest boss in the game.
And ironically, he's the hardest boss, even casually, because if you get knocked back by him, and you can fall into those pits on the sides, and those will bring you back to in front of the Bosque Room or the boss door.
But you don't get your hearts back. And he does 1 heart of damage. You only have 3. It's a really annoying boss.
Talking to you, Corin.
So we're gonna see this owl a lot in this game because, you know, it's a Zelda game, and unfortunately we don't have owl skip in this category. The old main category, No Save and Quit, actually had a way that you could skip the owl. Well, I guess we do actually have owl skip. We just do a save and quit in this category. But in No Save and Quit, you can't save and quit, so we do a different kind of owl skip. This is the log cave or forest cave. There's 2 ways of getting this heart piece. We go in to get some rupees and this heart piece, and you can either do that super jump that Spiraster did, or you can do a bomb trigger. Like I think Xander does the bomb trigger. Yeah, he's gonna do the bomb trigger. So he has to kill this top Zol, and he somehow missed him. And he got Very unfortunate luck there, and somehow didn't succeed the bomb trigger either.
A bit of an awkward flog cave for Xander, but not too bad. He still got it.
Why didn't that work?
He probably wasn't holding start.
Maybe. Yeah, you. It only saves time if you don't need an extra buffer.
But normally holding start doesn't pause before you get the heart piece, so it doesn't waste time.
Right.
So
bomb triggers, you can't do that.
Xander's getting the first picture now, talking to the mouse. One of the requirements for this game, as opposed to 100% in the original Link's Awakening, is we need to get these pictures. These are DX exclusive. They're not in the original. They're not in the Switch version, but they are in our menu, so we have to get them. They're required.
If you open your, you might wonder, like, where in the menu? If you press select when you're in the menu, this little menu on the bottom side will come up. That needs to be filled up too, with all the heart pieces and stuff like that. With triple by both players, it's possible to kill all 4 moblins in one spin slash. It's pretty rare, but it looks awesome. And this Moblin King, you ideally will kill him in 2 cycles, but sometimes he just messes with you, or you might screw up something and have to do a 3rd. And Spiraster screen is a flock clip. Clip, do you want to explain that? Oh, Cliff, you're muted.
Oh, sorry about that. So essentially, how that works is text boxes are weird, and they move you. So if you're walking diagonally into that rock, you'll get that nag message saying, "Hey, you're weak. Get the power bracelet." So that'll actually push you enough pixels into the wall where you can just kind of wiggle out. This is
Good.
E2 is pretty straightforward. Not too much going on until the end.
Yeah, it's pretty much the least glitchy dungeon, aside from the boss. The boss, we do a pretty significant glitch. The game doesn't think you're supposed to have the bow at this point, so developers just made every mini boss weak to the sword. And since the sword is much weaker than the bow, you can just kill mini bosses so much quicker than intended. Even though you technically can get the bow early by just stealing, it's not even a glitch or anything like that. So I don't know why they didn't take that into account.
There are a lot of decisions the developers made that I question, so that's just one of many.
Ooh, Xander needed to use an extra arrow on the ghost skip. Not sure.
His arrow count's still good.
Yeah. He used sword on the beetles, so he's pretty good for arrows. But if he didn't, then that would be a rough situation for him.
On Xander's screen, we have the Bosque Room, and the gimmick of this room is they have to kill the enemies in that order. And so it's kind of frustrating if the enemies give you a bad pattern and they kind of get in your way. But it was pretty clean by both Xander and Spiraster. This room's also kind of frustrating because of how random the bunnies can be. But both of them doing it very cleanly.
Spiraster doing a little pit jump there. That pit jump is really annoying sometimes. It's kind of precise. Yeah, this is the genie. So Spiraster was holding out his sword because apparently you need to hold out your sword, and then you use the bracelet to pick up the bottle. And he clips into the wall, and because he's clipped into the wall, that immediately breaks the bottle. Then he plants a bomb, and that bomb will push the genie toward him, where he uses a bomb arrow to finish him off. And that turns a fairly long fight casually into a very quick one in a speedrun.
Most of the bosses, there's a kind of a fast kill for them. The bosses weren't coded very well in this game.
Yeah, no kidding. We're gonna see D6. I think is probably one of the funniest bosses, and I'm not gonna spoil it. We'll just have to watch and see what I mean by it.
You notice Spiraster just kind of leapt to the D2 without Bow having to wait for Bow to eat the plant. It's because you can kind of clip into the back of walls, and then you're just far enough up where the collision doesn't touch you.
Unfortunately, we can't do that entering D2, or else any percent would be a much less painful category, because you would never need to get Bow Wow. And you're picking up the rock on Swag Rock. Every corner, top right corner like that, can be picked up for whatever reason, but only in the forest.
There's just some value that those tiles specifically are set to that allows them to be picked up. That just an oversight from the developers.
This is the, there are 3 upgrades that we need to get. Where you get first, we get bombs, then we get arrows, and then powder. The first option that you're given when talking to this guy is the powder. You do not want to select that, or else you will not have enough bombs. You have to go all the way to the village to buy some more. So it's very important that you don't rush that part. We just go down here and get a seashell. And on Spiraster's screen, we go over here and get a seashell that we actually come back to this spot later, but without the shovels, so we have to get it now.
We also need exactly 5 seashells.
Right. Yeah, that's because the seashell mansion that we're going to be entering pretty soon, if you have exactly 5 and exactly 10, you get a bonus seashell. If you have anything less or more than that, you get nothing.
Yeah, those seashells are very important. It's important to note, though, that there are 26 seashells total, but we only need 20. So some people might argue that it's not true 100% since we don't get all the seashells, but the reality is you can't, because once you get 20, all of the seashells in the overworld and the dungeons either change to 20 rupees or they just disappear. So only 20 is necessary.
Plus, I believe the requirement is actually all permanent inventory items. And seashells are not a permanent inventory item because they disappear once you get the sword upgrade.
Exactly.
Same thing goes with Tracy's potion. Like Tracy's potion is an inventory item, but it's consumable.
The same for all the trading sequence items. So we'll notice we didn't get the Yoshi doll at the beginning of the game because we can skip a lot of the trading sequence. It's not required to do all of it. Just the last item, which is the lens we need to get.
Yeah, the lens is a permanent inventory item, but we also needed to get another item as well. Like we literally, there's an item that is also required, and we just can't get it without the lens because it makes something visible. And same with the picture. So regardless if the lens was a permanent inventory item or not, it's still required.
So on the screen, Veloskip, essentially how it works is pits are weird again. Pits are they just work strangely. But what you can do is you can keep on menuing and menuing, and then the frame Link is supposed to fall. Your menu actually interrupts Link falling and causes him to move down several pixels. And you move down enough so that you're actually against the screen transition. So then once you unmenu after you hear Link fall, you just hold down and you'll kind of fall down into the maze. It may look like it's out of bounds, but it's not, because we're not the ones that are transitioning against solid tiles. The game puts solid tiles on top of us, which is okay, if that makes sense.
Would the menu bar even be considered a solid tile?
Sorry?
Would the menu even be considered a solid tile? You can't even super swim on it.
I mean, technically, I think you're still against the pit, because if you let go of down, you'll fall into the pit.
Well, not in that case. That's why early Rooster works as well.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it works because you won't immediately fall.
So here we have.
However, if you do any movement anywhere that isn't down, then you will just fall back in the pit.
Jesus jumps. So essentially, this works very similar to Veloskip. If you menu on the frame that Link is supposed to fall into the water, the menu interrupts that, and you can actually do another input out of the menu. And in this case, we do Feather, which allows us to jump across the water.
Is it faster to jump while clipped into a key block like that?
Oh, I have no idea. Probably not.
You probably just, maybe people are actually wondering what the heck just happened there. How did he open How did they open D3 from the top side? Because you're supposed to do it from the bottom. It turns out all you need to do is just be facing up and touching the either the left, right, or bottom side of the key block. And in that one's case, you have to be clipped, but it's easy to get clipped into it. We did that with D1 as well. We clipped into the side because it gets us into D1 slightly sooner. That's a bad acorn placement.
So now we have Piece of Power. Piece of Power increases our movement speed by 1.5. The way it works is that it will drop every 30 kills. This is the only place we'll get it in the run, because when you save and quit, your kill counter resets. And so that's not very helpful. This is just the longest stretch in the game where we kill enough enemies and don't save and quit, where getting Piece of Power is practical.
There's also something I'd just like to mention here. Xander takes the lead!
That he does. Spiraster was having a little bit of trouble with the super jump, and that gave Xander enough room to catch up. So here we have Dondongo skip. You just saw it a bit before. It's a super jump against the Dondongo. Our sword clinks off him, and it changes our momentum so that we're going to the right, and we go far enough to the right so that we get across the fence.
Yeah, there are several different kinds of super jumps. That one is a sword out super jump. The reason it has to be sword out is because our sword has to be charged, because once we do the super jump, we need to do a spin slash in midair, and that's what we use to clink off the Dodongo. Later, pretty soon we'll see an instance of a naked super jump, which is when we don't actually have a weapon. We need to be facing away from the wall for the super jump to work, and a weapon makes that a lot easier, but if you're already in the wall and facing up, just through a few different careful movements, you can already be facing away, and then you just do the same, basically the same inputs minus a weapon usage, you know?
So, that boss went fairly quickly, maybe a little more quickly than casual, and that's because Piece of Power increases our sword's attack power as well, which is very helpful against that boss.
And here's the owl again, who just never shuts up, and we have no skip for him. Not even text skips. And there's a little seashell under here.
Well, we can skip his animation with the bomb trigger.
That's true. We did. I think. I don't
The
remember
strat
if anybody got that.
you can do that strat. I don't think it's slower, but it's just not worth it, especially since bomb triggers going horizontally work differently than vertically, and so we try to not do them whenever we can.
Yeah, and bomb triggers don't always work without an extra menu. And that would definitely easy time. And yeah, so we skipped a lot of the trading sequence by just going into D3 before we even did some of the trading sequence. Vil skip literally skips that much of the game. So we were able to get this without getting the stick, because once we complete D3, the game just assumes you have the stick, because you can't get into D3 casually, normally, without the stick, because you need to get to Canada Castle and yada yada.
Sorry, Alpha.
Now we have 9 seashells. Once we go over here and we get our 10th one, and we go into the mansion and get
The
our 11th.
sink. The sink, guys. It's beautiful.
It is. Ooh, that little hit.
Spiraster ruined it.
Yeah, look how far ahead Spiraster is from his PB here.
Oh, wow.
Commentator
The sink is back
incoming.
because of RNG.
Oh,
So that cutscene is RNG. How fast the bar moves up. The developers decided to make that random because they hate speedrunners. And so you can actually save or lose time, like a significant amount of time from that cutscene.
There is a crazy amount of RNG in this category.
But that's the only cutscene that has RNG. No other cutscene in the game has RNG.
Oh, well,
Zero.
any RNG that actually affects us.
Well, actually, Bow Wow does.
So maybe Bow Out? Yeah, Bow Out, but like, how often does that ever happen, right? I've yet to see it.
Here we'll see another cutscene skip, just like we saw for the pineapple, or not the pineapple, for getting the honeycomb. If we open up our save and quit, menu, the frame that we collect the item You can save and quit, and the item will stay in your inventory, but you don't need to watch the cutscene. Saves a little bit of time.
On that particular cutscene, it doesn't really save much. So it's just most players try to go for a frame perfect opening of the menu, and that will save them 2 seconds because they don't have to open the save and quit menu twice, just once. It's worth going for because it's a pretty significant time save if you get it.
So now we have Link's Awakening Inception, a dream within a dream, and we get the ocarina, which we were able to keep inside of our dream for some reason. Link must be tripping or
rupees
something.
In the other chests that we could go to. There's the rooster. There's a rooster under there. We don't see him because we're speedrunners and we like to skip things as much as possible.
Now we're fishing. I'd like to point out that I am the fish god. No one can even relate to my fish god dominance.
I don't see you with the world record in Fish the Pond.
Hey, that doesn't matter. So that fish has a heart piece in it, but that small fish in the top gets in the way every time. There's no way to just get that bottom fish. You have to eat the top one first to get him out of the way.
I think it might be possible if you wait a little bit.
That's right. The fish god doesn't need
might, and it's just plain faster to get him and get him out of the way. Because you don't.
That's right. Wait. The fish god does not need to explain himself to anyone. I'm the fish god. If you want to know what I mean, just watch my last race from like 2 hours ago.
We dropped off Bow Wow because we hate Bow Wow and he gives us a picture. I don't know anybody who likes Bow Wow in this game. He just gets in the way of everything. Especially in any percent, which is why it would be great if we had a Bow Wow skip for D2. We're very jealous of LAS runners because they have a Bow Wow skip. Ooh, those jumps. We couldn't get that seashell earlier after D1 because you need the boots to bonk into the tree.
Get an F from Xander in the chat.
Oh, maybe he missed the nut grab or the nut touch. Oh yeah, that was it.
You got the water bonk. I think Spiraster went for the water bonk though, which is admirable. Not as good as nut grab though.
Interesting that you can do that. I think it would have been way better if the game just allowed you to swim there. Or drown, since we don't have a flipper. So this is one of those cutscenes that definitely does not have any RNG whatsoever.
Okay, now we have Marin. And it seems like we're going on a date with her, but the reality is we're just using her, and we're gonna just get rid of her later, which is really inconsiderate and rude. But you know what? Link needs to go fast, and if that's what it means to go fast, he's willing to pay that price.
I'm pretty sure she left him. She leaves him after the walrus because the animals want to hear her sing. And she values singing for animals more than going on a date with Link.
She left because all Link wanted to do was get items and progress through the game and not hang out with her. I mean, look at his face here.
Fair.
Does that look like the face of someone who cares?
Yeah, he doesn't even say anything to her. It's just in complete silence. The only reason we get Marin is because there are a few pictures that we have to get. Such as the cockblock picture. Or the cockpick, you could call it.
The screaming cock. Shout out to the Happy with Sugar.
As you can see, Terran is pretty much every dad ever when he doesn't trust the guy his daughter is dating. and just keeps a close eye on her. So we take this warp, and now we're on our way to Walrus Skip. We're going to do a bomb trigger instead of having Marin top the Walrus for two reasons. It's just less text, and also because after the trick, the whole cutscene actually ends once Marin leaves the screen, and because she's already way on the left side of the screen, she's going to leave the screen sooner. We get any walrus noises here? Walrus noises on Spiraster's screen, which is too bad that we're only using Xander's.
If you want walrus noises, go follow my channel while I'm streaming.
Yeah. Apparently Glyph always gets walrus noises.
No, my follow notification sound is walrus.
That's why he always gets walrus noises.
Always be plugging. It's another bomb trigger to get that heart piece quickly. There used to be a pretty cool strat that people did before we learned about bomb triggers, but rip to that.
Yeah, once you get bomb triggers, just throw every other strat out the window and replace it as much as possible with bombs.
Xander going into the yellow saucer machine of death and just shooting 2 arrows and grabbing the key. That's all that's in the room.
Yeah, there's no mini boss or anything there that, you can kill before it shows up. And then
another
there's the hidden heart piece.
One of many.
Yeah. There's so many items just in general in this game that are so hard to find. With almost no indication whatsoever. If you sprinkle powder on those bombs that Spiraster just passed, he apparently tells you to use your sword against walls. I think that's the one. And that's how you're supposed to actually find those heart pieces behind the walls.
Classic Zelda.
At least in Ocarina of Time, you could see the heart piece, and then you could figure out how to get to it. In this game, you have to figure out how to get to it before you even know it's there.
So this is worst song. It's the worst song in the game.
Both players sound on. You'll hear it sound just like the frog song.
So yeah, getting all the songs is another requirement for 100%. There's 3 of them total. We do not play this one. It just stays in our inventory. I don't think any of our players are going to actually play it.
Say plays it for Death I Skip. I don't know if he plays it because...
Spiraster do. I think Spiraster's dropping some frames on my end, but
yeah,
not
you
too
did
bad.
in my French bonk.
You can still see what's going on. Yep, there's a French bonk right there.
This is an updated route. This saves about 10 seconds over the old one. We used to get this warp near D4 after D2, and then we'd warp to it from Animal Village. But it turns out to be a little bit faster to go over, as you see on Xander's screen, to this cave, just enter it, and then immediately leave, because what that does is set a save point. So the next time you save and quit, you'll go back to this cave. It turns out that saves a little bit of time. Mainly because you're not warping as often. Because if you got the warp earlier, you'd actually have to go buy it twice.
Yes.
Which is 5 seconds each.
Sega says playing song 3 saves half a second over Marin's ballad.
Yeah.
So say is slow confirmed.
and yet he's still got a better PB than pretty much everybody except Sagas. He actually PB'd in his race against me the other day. Got a 117, which is
coming up here is the hardest and most important trick in the game. Oh, see, it's hard. Shameful. I mean, that's obstacle skip. He gets it. Both players.
Oh, this is
shameful.
Pathetic. How could you fail obstacle skip?
I mean, they got it.
Easiest half second to save, you know? Not like there's no risk to it.
So we're gonna go up here and set our save and quit point. Save and quit back there here in a minute. Both players are going for early rooster skip. We're gonna skip having to get the rooster after D6. There are various ways to do it. Both of them are going to do the fastest way, but probably the most annoying way to do it.
There's a way you can do it with the hook shot where if you're jumping, if you use the hook shot or jump on the exact frame that the hook shot fully retracts, you have one frame to do a jump, and you have to do that twice. There's a buffered method, but it's quite a bit slower. But this way is much like Villa Skip, where you're gonna pause on the same frame that you hear the falling sound. And then you're going to use the shovel as you're charging boots, and that actually holds your dash and allows you to dash in place, which makes this jump easier to do. It is possible to do it without the shovel, but it's really hard. Both players doing a very clean and pretty quick early rooster skip.
Spiraster had a bunch of buffers for no reason. He kind of got a little bit of a million buffer, which can just happen. You can be in a weird subpixel, or even if Link's position looks right, you can still just keep on buffering and buffering forever, which is really irritating.
Yeah, one of our top players in one of his races a couple weeks ago, I think it was, he got 52 buffers, which is almost 2 minutes lost to a single trick.
So this jump right here that Xander just did actually skips half the dungeon.
Yeah.
It's actually really easy to do casually, and then it just skips like the entire thing.
Yeah, and it's not even a glitch. There's another one later too that we also do to skip some of the dungeon. D4 is just full of them. You're getting the fast pattern. This room has, I think, 5 different patterns. Both players getting the fast pattern. This is the fastest one. It's actually almost like 10 seconds faster than the slowest one. So there's quite a difference between. You really hope you get the good one.
Maybe not 10 seconds, but it is significantly faster.
Yeah,
here's a jump. We're going to use our sword to clink off the Beat, similar to Dondango Skip. Xander failing it, he's going to have to use Bracelet to get out and use the easier strat. Spiraster going for the easier strat as well, so unfortunately we won't get to see that today. And so we use our sword to just clink off the P-hat, and that pushes our momentum down, and we're able to get onto the ledge. You can also do another strat where you don't have to equip Bracelet. That Xander was going for, but he failed it, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's much the same like the Dongo Skip, where you do a sword out super jump with the charged sword. And then you use that.
That's Kervone's school, by the way. By the way, you can't hookshot down underwater, just so you know. It's not possible. Also, Spiraster takes the lead.
And I think that... oh yeah, that's right, because his PB probably did normal rooster skip. So he appears more... his splits make it look like he's more behind than he actually is. But once he's going to enter D7, he's probably going to get an insane gold. Because he's not going to have to do rooster skip. Here's the song. That's not really a song.
We'll see a silent for it. Oh.
Oh. So after that, we are going to go to this cave that's full of water, and guess what? There's yet another heart piece that is really hard to find.
I found this one casually, I think.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you going to do in this cave, right? Like, you might as well dive and see what happens. That's how I found the moat heart piece, as well as to, like, it's gotta lead somewhere, right? But those ones behind caves, yeah, I mean, those are ridiculous.
So now we have the Ghost Buddy. He's really annoying for routing, but we had to take him back to his home and then back to his grave. We can't go into any dungeons while we have him. He just kind of yells at us. We try to go into any sort of dungeon. Just really annoying, but it's fine. We'll have to take care of him. Here we get a seashell, and we're about to do a trick that's going to skip 90% of the trading sequence. You'll see it on Spiraster's side here. In 2D sections, walls kind of work as pits for some reason. And if you drop 2 bombs in a pit within 4 frames, it'll actually activate a bomb trigger. And that actually activates the cutscene that you're supposed to play whenever you trade the fishing hook for the bra.
Get another massive time skip that we can credit to bomb triggers. And here's the Mermaid. So there is a way we can actually skip her cutscene as well, where she's kind of bouncing away by saving and quitting on the same.
Oh, is that a 1 buffer? Spiraster got a 1 buffer.
That is really hard to do.
Oh, is Xander
getting a good one too?
I think it was a 3 buffer. But if you open up your save and quit the frame that you get the scale, it'll stay in your inventory just like with the pineapple. And here's Zora Bump, one of the hardest tricks in the game. If we are jumping off the ledge... Oh, not quite getting it. Xander getting it. Xander takes the lead. But if you're jumping off the ledge and use your shield against either the Zora or the Zora's Fireball, it'll actually cancel its momentum and it'll just fall onto the ledge. And from the ledge, you can do a super jump to get all the way across. And that skips having to get the hook shot. And so we're able to get the magnifying lens early.
Yeah, and the position on the ledge to get enough distance with the super jump is pretty. It's pretty precise. So it's not uncommon. Yeah, it's not uncommon to accidentally fall by maybe tapping too quickly or something, or going too many pixels over, and then you have to do the whole bump again. It loses a lot of time to fail it, unfortunately.
Oh, Spiraster almost forgot the picture.
Yeah.
If by the way, if you menu on the screen, open your menu after this cutscene, for whatever reason, the picture doesn't apply. You have to get it again. It's really weird.
Shout out to Node. You might think it saves time, but it doesn't. Because, yeah, you don't get anything. And this annoying 3 pits to jump over. And we have to enter this house, and the ghost just talks really, really slowly. This, like, maybe next to Bow Wow. In Hundo, the ghost is the most annoying thing.
There's actually ways to skip the ghost, but there's a picture that we need to get, which makes the ghost mandatory in 100%, which is really irritating.
Literally a single picture is the reason we get the ghost.
Honestly, it's better than the original Link's Awakening, where you have to get a 1 or 2 frame trick to skip the ghost cutscene, or else he runs over. So we don't have to deal with that in this game.
We no longer need the shovel, but we do need to get the boomerang, so we replace the shovel with the boomerang. And then we head on back, and we're on our way to now get the arrow upgrade. Just like the bomb upgrade, you want to select the second option, and so that you don't accidentally pick up powder and have to go to the village and lose a bunch of time. But we're gonna get a couple seashells on the way. This screen good, you may or may not be talked to by the ghost.
Yeah, on
The
any given
ghost-
screen, the ghost can just talk to you just like that, and it's just random whether or not he's going to do it. And if you're on a screen long enough, then there's a bigger chance that he's going to talk to you. And that's why that screen is so dangerous, because you're on it for a long time.
Oh, Spiraster getting the Zoomerang. Yeah, Zoomerang is certain tiles. Like if you use the boomerang the second you enter them, certain actions, the boomerang will throw you into like some direction, depending on where you're facing. It's usually like backwards or something.
Weird. For water, specifically,
2 places that saves time.
For water specifically, if you do a Zoomerang on top of water, it actually boosts you upright every time. It's really weird. As far as I know, if I remember correctly, that's what it does.
It's fun, but in that case, it loses you quite a bit of time because it moves you so fast that you are maintaining momentum even after you hit the wall. And you're stuck on the wall for a couple seconds. Now we're not
Mammo's Mambo.
Get a picture.
Mammo's Mambo is the song that warps us. If we're in dungeons, it'll warp us at the beginning of dungeons. And if we're in the overworld, it'll warp us next to Crazy Tracy's place, which is pretty convenient gadget play. Because if you're low on health, you can just warp to Crazy Tracy and get a potion, no problem. But it's also convenient in speedrun because it reduces a lot of overworld travel. So it's just a nice, handy thing to have because it's required for 100%, so might as well use it.
Yeah. And after this, we're on our way to D0. And D0, also known as the Color Dungeon, is the dungeon that was added with the DX version of the game. And we're going to do a fun little boomerang through the rocks to get that heart piece. Fortunately, we don't have to open up a wall and get that one.
There's so many ways to get that heart piece early.
Yeah. You can also like do a dash jump and kind of
dash jump
around.
You can throw the boomerang like in between the rocks, and you can do a weird feather jump when you're like next to the rock. It's really weird.
Yeah. My favorite but hardest one is actually like pushing the rock down, the bottom rock downward. That's the other way you can do it. If you don't get it through the rocks, it's just faster to push the rock, and then you can get it through the Xander's screen here. We got the rupee cache, and after D0, we're gonna get the frog song, but we need 300 rupees for it. And after he gets the nightmare key, he's gonna do a hard reset. He's just gonna completely reset the whole game. Yeah. And that will reset the rupees. A save and quit is not good enough because for whatever reason, the rupees are stored on the console itself.
Oh, nice Zoomerang on Xander's screen. We're getting loads of Zoomerangs today.
Not the one that saves time.
Yeah, next we have this blob. He takes powder. He's weak to powder. And we can put him in a stun lock if Xander does it correctly. Yeah, just like that. If you do it quick enough, he can't move, and you can just keep on smashing powder and kill him instantly. So here we have a hard reset after getting this boss key. You see there, Xander's playing on emulator. You get a little message there. Emulator is completely illegal as long as you have that message pop up that say, "Hey, I'm playing on emulator."
Tells you that you're playing on that you're playing on the right version, just for accuracy's sake.
You're not playing on a cheated version of the game or anything. You don't have any game shark codes or action replay codes going on. That's the Stone Hinox. Again, just 2 arrows and he dies. Pretty simple.
It's 3 arrows, actually. It's the only mini boss that requires 3. It's 2.
Nope.
You sure?
Yep, because you shoot 2 normally. Because he gets weird iframes when he's jumping. So when you shoot 2, it just lines you up perfectly for the next one. But the second arrow leaks.
Okay. I didn't realize
Bingo Room is the worst room in the game. Xander getting a very clean Bingo Room. Very nice.
Yeah.
But if you get bad pattern, you can just be in that room forever. The physics that those evil orbs are really bizarre. Actually, they're called orb monsters. Orb monster is their official name, by the way. The boss coming up here is called Evil Orb, official name.
You could do that. You could throw a bunch of fidget spinners at you. It's really annoying. Speedrunner on the bingo room now, getting a pretty bad pattern.
Pretty good recovery.
Yeah,
wasn't horrible.
We get the blue tunic because it's faster for the D5 boss. Because when you hit something with the red tunic on, the boss gets invulnerability frames, which is
it's a side effect of
makes it slower.
Yeah. It makes it really, really hard to get a 1 cycle, and it makes it RNG dependent whether or not you get a 2 cycle, not a 1 cycle, I mean. And so it really doesn't matter which tunic you choose, because both of them are about the same amount of time. Both have their own advantages and disadvantages, but most players tend to go for blue tunic because you get level 2 sword so early in the game that most of the benefits of red tunic become negated pretty early on.
The only player I know of currently who does the blue tunic is Olos.
Red tunic, you mean?
Or red tunic. The signpost maze is pretty tricky because you can accidentally read the sign twice. And if you do that, you have to start all the way from the beginning of it, which wastes so much time.
If you're a TAS, red tunic actually is faster by just a little bit, by a small margin. And that's because the Armos Knight boss takes more damage when you have red tunic, and you don't have level 2 sword yet, so it makes that boss a lot faster. But there are plenty of other places in the game where blue tunic saves more time, and so most players prefer blue tunic because it's just safer, and generally it's faster RTA.
Take off your headphones while you still can. No way. This is my jam right here.
This is the best rap, not including Poke Rap, which is the true best rap. But we'll be quiet for it so you can listen to it.
That's the best song.
Second best song, best rap.
No.
Yeah, red tunic, like Saga says, also saves time when you pick up rocks. But the thing is, level 2 bracelet does as well. You get that so early in the game. And those powers don't stack once you get level 2 bracelet. It's negated. And you just get the power up. So, again, just another reason why red tunic isn't quite as fast in this route.
Yeah, once you get the bracelet and you're past Armos Knight, it's actually slower in pretty much every single way. Unfortunately, if it gave us the speed boost that Piece of Power gave us, obviously that would be the best tunic. Even if it was like a minor speed boost, like 5% or something. Unfortunately, that is not the case.
Apparently, it's 6 rocks that you pick up with red tunic without level 2 bracelet, and you pick up rocks just barely faster. So it'll save you a couple of frames each time.
It's like a
tenth
of a second or something. You can roll into that house, and you will keep rolling through the cutscene.
Alright, resident sleepers in the chat. To remind you not to sleep for this exhilarating gameplay. It's so exciting. Look at Spiraster swim. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Look at that.
It's going for the world record of swimming. He's gonna get the gold medal with this. I think that was a silver medal.
Oh, rip.
Coming up is the Armos Maze. Not really. I guess it is technically a maze. I don't know. Are there dead ends that like actually don't go anywhere and have nothing of use?
I don't know.
There are.
We just call it the Armos
Yeah, there
Maze. Oh, there are.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But we equip shield here so we can bonk them and kind of squeeze past them like that. Which
We
is
go
nice.
this way because there's our 20th seashell. So no more seashells are needed after that one. Because after D6, we are going to go get the level 2 sword. Or make our third visit to the seashell mansion. Instead of getting a bonus seashell, we get a bonus sword.
So this is Armos Knight. We'll see Xander do boot strats, looks like. There's multiple ways to fight him. Boot strats are the best because they look nicest. They're swaggy. Very nice. You got the sunlock. That was a 4 and 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a very good one.
It takes 6 boots or boot stashes to kill Armos Knight, and you can kind of get him stun locked. When you get stunned by him, Link will keep on dashing in place, and so you can use that to your advantage to keep on hitting him repeatedly.
And yeah, we've got no other way out than to just go back through. He's gonna make our way. We're gonna make our way to D6, and on the way to D6, we're gonna be encountering a couple annoying pits, and not a cutscene skip that we could do with Bow Wow, but the only use of Bow Wow. Ooh, that bomb fairy is not being nice.
Very nice boot strats from Spiraster screen. There are multiple ways to do boot strats. Different players have different strats they like to use.
D6 is one of those dungeons that super jumps skip half of.
Right, yeah.
We also quite literally go through it backwards in some places.
But first we need to get the bracelet. We get that pretty vanilla. Just go up and just the normal route that you would take casually. The top speedrun strat for this room is to hold up and left. It's very difficult, very hard strat, but Xander makes it look easy.
Then just throw a bomb, shoot an arrow at the mold arm, and boom, we've got the bracelet that we use for one thing. And picking up rocks faster. Let's see if he gets the bomb trigger. He gets it. So he used the bomb trigger there because he already had bombs equipped, and that made the tiles actually start sooner.
So here is a pretty cool strat that we're about to do on Xander's screen. He's going to place a bomb in a specific spot and then knock that wizard into place. The bomb will kill all 4 of them at once. Ooh, is Spearster missing the cycle on the wizards?
Oh, it's too early.
Oh, you missed it again. Oh no. Spearster, stop.
There we go. You have to place the bomb before they start appearing.
So this is the shack jump. So you can actually do a super jump against like interactable objects like key blocks and pushable blocks. And you can actually, for some reason, do a super jump off them if you're moving diagonally, facing away. It's really weird. Alright, in this route, we have to do horse heads. If you remember horse heads from casual play, they're just random. There's no manip for it. You just throw them to get it.
Try.
Oh, first try. 1 in 4 chance that you get it first try. 50-50 for each horse head. Unless you're bamboo.
Yeah, that's like
there's
always first try. It's predictably first try too. Yeah, that's the black hole room. Here we just place a little bomb and we kill the wizard rope, open up the door. And now we're at Facade, and we're gonna hit Facade 3 times before he even shows up. That's why this boss is hilarious. Yeah. So now he just needs 2 more bombs, and then he's dead.
Just like that.
Xander got gold.
Giving us some spoilers in chat. How could you? You're spoiling the surprise. Spears are in horse heads right now. Getting pretty bad horse heads. Oh wow, that was like 7th or 8th try. That was really bad.
If you fall into that black hole, you are sent to the beginning of the dungeon.
Oh, it was 6th. I'm bad at counting. Hey, I'm a speedrunner, not a mathematician. Get off my case. Everything will disappear.
So we got all the seashells. We're done D6. So we head back to the seashell mansion again. We listen to this awesome sound effect and cool animation.
Again, it's random how fast it'll go. Xander's was pretty slow. Nothing you can do about it, though.
Other times it crawls. So, yeah, pretty much, for the most part, collecting, there's not really any out-of-the-way collecting from here. So we're just going straight to dungeons as fast as we can after D6 is done.
So next we're going to do a trick, which is the reason for the reroute called EHS. You want to tackle that, Zintro?
Yeah, well, I'm not 100% sure exactly how this whole item slots things works, but you basically, like, each item, each screen is assigned an item if there is one. In this one room, there's a key, and the room next to it, there's the hook shot. You get the hook shot by killing Master Stolfos 4 times. But we're gonna completely skip all of that by pulling the key into the room, into the hookshot room, and that converts the key into the hookshot. And not first try. Unfortunately, it's a 50-50 chance of it working.
I'm pretty sure it's frame roll based. Frame rolls in this game are unlike in, like, you might be familiar with Super Mario Bros. 1, where it's 21 frames, I think, when you can complete a level. Oh, not second try either. Uh-oh, it's going to give a chance for Spiraster to catch up. The frame rules in this game, certain actions can only happen every other frame. The game only checks for certain things, like picking up an instrument or falling into a pit, every other frame. Yeah, not third try. Ouch. This is pretty bad.
Very, very unfortunate. Fourth try is actually pretty rare. Most of the time it's first or second.
There, he finally gets the fourth try.
See how many times Spiraster gets it. If Spiraster gets it first try, that is very good for him, because this is his chance to catch up. Spiraster making sure to collect all items off the ground, because that can mess up the item slots where the key is, and you'll end up just picking up the key instead of the hookshot.
Not first try for him either. Dang, this isn't great for either runners. It's one of the most frustrating parts of grinding 100%. Is this trick? Because every time you need another attempt, it's about 15 seconds or so, give or take.
It's an hour into the run.
Yeah, it's an hour into the run, so it's really frustrating when you're on PB pace, only to lose it to frame rules.
Yep. And once your times get low enough, like, you pretty much have to get first try, unless you're ahead enough.
Monster Selfos 1 on Spiraster's screen. This is the only Master Selfos that will fight, because we can just skip the other ones. We need to get into this other room, so we have to fight him. But the other thing is that when we hit him 4 times, they'll actually drop a key, which is not supposed to happen. For whatever reason, just like Zintro said, items have, or rooms have items assigned to them. That room has a key assigned to it for some reason. So when we kill Master Sophos, he drops the item. There's
hookshot clipping. Spam your hookshot like between this pot and the wall, and for some reason it just pulls you through. And on Xander's screen, you may be hearing this jump sound and seeing him move very quickly with the hookshot. If you use the hookshot and jump at the exact same moment when hookshot is on B, you do a thing called bookshot, and
it's
that's
called
going to be
bookshot
used
because you're booking it, not
and
because
plus
it's on B.
hookshot on B.
That's not really the reason, I'm sure.
Oh, who knows?
Matt just couldn't remember what it did, so we named it bookshot.
All I can say is why. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, this boss is why Blue Tunic is faster, because this boss is slow with Red Tunic.
The knockback effect that comes with Red Tunic actually gives some enemies iframes, and this boss specifically gets iframes, making it very difficult to get a 2-cycle.
And even if you got a 2-cycle with Red Tunic is slower than a 2-cycle with Blue Tunic, because you have to slash slower.
2-cycle from both players, very nice.
Actually, the difference between Red and Blue Tunic was demonstrated in a race a couple weeks ago between Olos, who uses Red Tunic, and another player. I forget who it was.
Me.
They were both. Was it you?
Yeah, it was me.
Oh, it was you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Both of you were in perfect sync at the start of the fight. So, and you both got a 2-cycle with your respective tunics, and it really showed just the difference between the two tunics.
It was a solid 2 seconds.
Yeah. Just a lot of time. 2 seconds, even in a run that's an hour and 20 minutes long, it's still... 2 seconds is a long time. Here comes our second obstacle skip. First, we're gonna do this, my favorite bomb trigger.
Hopefully, the players will redeem themselves.
Yeah. So that part piece is actually in a totally different cave that we have to get to, like, from another part of the mountain. But instead, we can just bomb trigger it, because bomb triggers are just amazing.
Okay, he gets the obstacle skip that time. Partially redeemed.
Yeah, and now Spiraster does not have to do regular Rooster Skip. So, or a Rooster Skip at all. So he should save time. In this cave, if you time it perfectly, a jump while dashing forward, you can get a damage boost off of the keys. You can also do it there. It's really hard to pull off, but it does save like a second. There's all kinds of tiny little time saves, and a lot of them are very difficult to pull off.
Yeah, but not much going on.
They add up.
We're just trying to make our way to D7. Not a whole lot going on.
Yeah, getting a D7's pretty much vanilla.
In other other routes, before D7 is when we'll do different variations of Rooster Skip. Different category you're doing has different ways of doing it based on its rule set. In this category, we do it before D4, which is pretty unique to 100%. So D7. D7 is very, very broken because of bomb triggers. We don't need to use the metal ball at all. Also, get the level 2 shield, which we do not equip at all in the run.
You'll see why very soon. You're supposed to use the shield to get past, get to D8, but well, we
also
use
to beat the final boss,
for that.
to beat Evil Eagle. But yeah, bomb triggers. See here, Xander using bomb triggers against screen transition and against pits. And that will activate the cutscene that's normally supposed to play whenever you throw the metal ball at the pillar. And so
All it on the gold.
Oh yeah, looks like Spiraster's almost at PB pace. Oh, that's bad. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating.
You have to place that bomb and get to that tile before the bomb blows up.
So going back here in just a few moments, there's a trick called Goomba Surf, and that allows us to skip the Bosque in this dungeon. It's the only Bosque skip that's allowed in this category. Everything else breaks out of bounds rules. So we have to line up on a specific pixel, and then we just have to get good RNG. It's all RNG based. We have to hope that the Goomba moves to the right, and there he gets second try, basically third try because he waited for a bit at first. And then we just do super jump up the wall, and that allows us to bounce off the Goomba and onto the ledge. Evil Eagle.
If you're on really good pace and you get first try, it is the most exciting thing ever.
Opposed to when you're on really good pace and you get like 11th try and your run's dead.
Seriously.
Spiraster not going for
not
Goomba Surf. You see on Xander's screen, he just kind of killed the eagle by shooting his hookshot down. And that works because the menu doesn't have collision for whatever reason in this instance. Whether or not it'll have collision is based on several things in what screen you've been to recently. It's very bizarre.
If you save and quit, it will allow you to. It'll allow the glitch to work.
Right. So when no save and quit, this glitch. Yeah, no save and quit, this glitch doesn't work.
Right.
As you see on Spiraster's screen, he just shoots down, and hookshot wraps.
Literally wraps the hookshot around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little bonk there. And now we're on our way to D8. On the way to D8, there's only one thing we need to collect, which is the powder upgrade. Our final upgrade. And, Spiraster got first strike Goomba Surf. He'd be way ahead of PB right now. Looks like Xander's gonna be going for Zoomerang. This is the this is a legit Zoomerang here. So he's gonna do that.
The short of why Blue Tunic is faster than Red, for most cases, is because Red Tunic has the knockback effect, which causes lots of problems for the bosses, and makes some bosses slower. Or less consistent.
There are a few places where Red is faster, but over the course of the entire run, at least for human players, Blue is faster.
Yeah, but it's not too bad.
If you played literally perfectly like a task, then Red is faster.
Yeah, but it's the time save is so little either way that you can go with whatever tunic you want. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. No Zoomerang from Spiraster, which is shameful. A task is so basically a task is a robot playing the game and just a computer doing inputs.
Yeah, it stands for Tool Assisted Speedrun. You go into certain emulators like BizHawk, and BizHawk was actually banned recently from this game because of its tasking abilities, just making it a little too hard to verify runs with it.
So there, we skipped past that fire that you're normally supposed to use level 2 shield for, and we have level 2 shield. We could do it casually, but if you're clipped into the wall, you actually don't take knockback from the fire, and so we're able to just squeeze past the flame.
You may notice Xander just did a bomb trigger again.
Also, that mini boss that opens C8, he doesn't have collision, and so you can just walk past his head and into the dungeon without fighting him.
Yeah, so not only can you bomb trigger him, so you don't have to play the ocarina. You can also just go right past him. And if you wanted to not hit him or not walk through him, you could just slash him with your sword. And for whatever reason, when you bomb trigger, he only has like 1 hit point, and he'll just immediately die.
So Xander just did a book shot there, where when you do a book shot, Link moves much faster, and you're able to clip it past that key block far enough, or you can actually hit the collision of the staircase. So it skips having to get a key. You'll see it here on Spiraster's screen in just a second.
Yeah, there's a 2-pixel window, horizontal pixel, I believe. You have to be pretty precisely lined up, and you have to do bookshot. Yeah, you just go right through the key block. And that skips a pretty good chunk of the dungeon.
So Xander is about to swim in lava. If you transition against a screen when you're on lava by doing a Jesus jump, you'll actually be able to swim inside of it.
Ooh, did that arrow? Yeah, it did. The sparks can absorb your arrows. Believe it or not, you can go too fast there. And then you'd have to wait for the spark.
Just a nice
there,
little...
there are times when you can go too fast in speedrunning.
Next is Cue Ball. We have level 2 sword, so it kind of makes this boss really easy. You just hit him twice with 2 spin slashes and he's dead.
He also
next
shows up
room...
in D4, but we have Jesus jumps, so we just skip them in D4.
So this room is normally pretty straightforward. You just have to fill up all the holes with tiles. But the designers missed something in when they coded this, in the fact that you can use your feather while doing this. So you can actually jump to move closer to the chest as you do the puzzle.
You mean you basically are like, you maintain the movement that you were using as you pushed the block. Something like that.
So here, Xander's going to do a Jesus jump, which clips him into the wall. And so he can skip having to go through that ice room. The underground ice room.
Here's Hothead. Hothead, a nice 1 cycle there. Hothead takes 1 hit to remove his flame. He gets the flame back anytime he goes in the lava. After the flame is removed, you just need 5 hits. And you can only hit him while, I believe, he has invulnerability frames that last like half a second or something.
Hothead is weak to magic, not fire.
Yeah.
It's a magic rod, not a fire rod.
That's why, the fire doesn't make him more powerful. You would
Did
think
Xander get Wang? I didn't see. Did he miss Wang?
Either. After you break the shell, just a couple more hits, and he's dead. We used to think he was kind of random. Some players thought he was kind of knew something was up, and earlier this year we looked into it and figured out the boss is not random at all. There actually is there's a few places on the screen where he just cannot take damage, so it seemed random because we were hitting him there. Spears are pretty well ahead of PB now. And now we have all our items, so we just go to the final boss, and then we win. The final boss, well, here's a bump trigger. We should listen to this first, and then I'll explain some stuff.
So yeah, that's Battle of the Windfish. Next we have the final boss. Well, first we have the Egg Maze. And we haven't read the book yet. The book in the library is what tells us the path we need to take. But it turns out if you don't actually read the book, the path is going to be the same every time. Nice swag bomb from Xander. The bomb, for whatever reason, is going to wrap around the screen. You see here also, just for swag. But yeah, that's the path that we take, and it's the same every time.
All right, here's the final boss. This boss has a lot of things going on pretty quickly. So he's going to do a bomb trigger to skip some text and a whole cutscene, and this allows us to do two things. First is the Blob quick kill. So this is the Shadow Blob. So remember that Blob in D0? He's basically that, but a nightmare version. We just hold out our sword and place a bomb when it lands on our sword, and that kills him instead of using powder. Here's Aghanim. The other thing the text skip allows us to do is always make sure that he gives us these energy balls. If we go into the proper position, so either we're like against the wall or a pixel away from the wall, depending on where he goes. We also have to time our spin slashes so that the ball is reflected back at the right time. And he gets it. And then there's the Moldarm quick kill. You remember Moldarm from D1? Well, this one's easier because there are no hits. And you just do some slashes at the right time and a spin slash to stun lock him. And then there's Ganon. We hit him 6 times because he had a level 6 sword, but we're actually going to hit him 5 times if you're doing a thing called Death Eye Skip. And for Death Eye Skip, we play the ocarina on the same frame that the keys, the flame keys, is released toward Link. And that will freeze the keys in place. And then we kill Shadowland Mola, and when Death Eye spawns, the Keys turns into Death Eye for some reason, but the Keys has an HP value of 0, which means that the Keys immediately dies. And because the game thinks Death Eye died, it spawns a staircase for him.
GG to Xander. 1:19:53. Very nice time.
That is a really good time.
We'll see if he comes in for comms here in a second. For an interview. Spiraster right now working on the Aghanim Manip, and he gets it, no problem.
He got a blue ball.
Oh, did he really? I didn't notice.
Yeah, unfortunately. So I believe Spiraster does not do Death Eye Skip. Yeah, he's not going to be going for it.
But that's okay because the boomerang actually kills Death Eye in 1 hit.
It will not mean he is going to get a TP unless Death Eye opens up immediately. Which he very rarely does. Which is unfortunate. But still, a good time from Spiraster. Hello.
Hello. Sorry if I'm
GG.
Sorry if I'm a bit quiet. People are asleep, so yeah.
That's fine. I'll.
Well, how do you feel about the run?
It was
Also,
fun,
GG, Spiraster.
Yeah, no, my run, honestly, it wasn't that bad. If it wasn't for that early hookshot 4th try.
Yeah. Yeah, that early hookshot really screwed you over.
Oh, yeah. Other than that, I think it was actually pretty good overall. Got a couple.
I would agree.
Got a couple of really nice golds, so I'm happy about that.
Let's talk about that first obstacle skip attempt.
We don't.
I feel like we need to point it out. We need to call you out for that. Also, GG Spiraster.
GG.
Thanks.
How do you feel about the run?
Pretty shit. It was a shit run.
The blue balls at the end there pretty much screwed you over.
Yeah, like, I assume I fucked it up. I assume it was my fault. I have no idea how, but yeah. It always sucks to get bopped by 2 minutes.
I feel that.
I'm getting some audio delay, I think, from players. It's gonna leave and re-enter.
I think it was actually kind of close, though. Like,
Also, I'd like to point out that both players fell trying to do the first obstacle skip, and that's very shameful. You should both be ashamed. It was at the same time, too. That was when you guys were, like, synced, and you both fell at the same time. It's pretty funny. But it's also shameful.
There you go. I got my audio problem fixed here. I just realized that I had Xander's sound on in the thing there, and I was hearing two voices at once.
That would do it. Yep. Also, I'm so mad that for some reason I saved and quit at 6 rupees, even though I still had 3.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
It was so dumb.
Sometimes 6 rupees can save you time if you
Yep.
get lucky.
Not enough.
Speedrunner got really good rupees. He was at, was like a 145 or something.
Nice.
Yeah,
And you
they're
got a bonus rupee, which was duped.
Yeah, I think I lost like 20 seconds to that dumb mistake from rupees.
So what else? What else happened in the run that was quite notable? I mean, I didn't see anything. There's nothing that seemed meme-worthy, you know, other than the obstacle skip failing. That was about it. and I guess the 4th try or the hook shot, but yeah.
Both of you had pretty solid rooster skips, which is nice.
Mhm.
It was the same time too. You guys were synced at the time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, both of you were in Mambo, where we're only like a few seconds apart.
That must make Corin sad.
I don't know. I'll go back and see.
But overall, I think it was a pretty good run, pretty good race. There was a lack of nut touches and nut grabs.
That
But-
was one thing. I had sword equipped, and then I realized, wait, no, I'm gonna switch the bracelet. But I did it on the Marin screen, and apparently you can't menu there, so I didn't even get a nut touch.
It's,
Well,
I didn't even know
you
that was
got
a thing.
the forest swag rock.
Oh yeah.
So that's really the most important. Quite a few golds from either of you as well, both of you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Unless anyone else has any comments.
Thanks for watching, everyone.